Hi Cancer, my name's Chandler. I'm an intuitive empath, and this is your intuitive tarot reading for the month of April. I'm so excited to be doing this. I have a lot of Cancers that I really value in my life. They are so helpful, and I always look to them for insights, intuitive insights, emotional insights, communicative insights. You guys really are a people person. And I am a person that really values you on earth here. So I want to give you some insight in return. So those of you who are asking those hard questions this month are really actually aligned. And this is on purpose that you're asking those hard questions involving career and loving relationships, because all of the planets that are playing with you right now are in cardinal aspects. Okay, so that's going to be bringing up a lot of important questions, a lot of long-term questions. And with these cardinal activations, it's you that's going to be changing internally before you see any physical exchange of energy in the physical realm, in the tangible realm. Okay, so as I say that, I feel as though energy this month in April is going to be in a reflective quality. Okay, really removing some of the emotional barriers potentially so that you can make advancements in your career, loving relationships. And I do see a lot of those panning out very well for you. But in the first part of the month when Mercury is retrograde, that's going to create a difficult aspect within your 10th and 7th house of career and loving relationships. So just know that there's going to be miscommunications, there's going to be misunderstandings. And if you feel as though you're not seeing eye to eye with certain things in your life, or certain people in your life rather, that will probably mend itself. Okay, I don't see a lot that's going to be dramatically shifting within April, but there are dramatic shifts within you. So within the next few months, I do see you making some great advancements, some big changes in your life, but you're really just reserving your energy right now. You're reserving your energy, you're going within, okay, because you know, as the creator of your reality, that the happenings that are within you, the energy that is within you must come without. It must become without, rather. So the energy that you shift within you regarding your career and loving relationships will recalibrate, will rebalance, but it's you needing to maybe slow down in order to speed up. That's the kind of feeling that I'm getting. So with that being said, if you'd like a more specific reading, you can always go to my website at chandlerchristine.com, and I would be happy to give you a more specific reading for the month of April. And I just got an angel card for you. This says fresh air. And how telling is that? It means that you really need to maybe just have some time to yourself, to have a adult play date, have some fun during April, because it's a month of knowing that you have some groundwork to do. And the clearer and more refreshed that you can feel and be, it's just going to be moving more simply and more steadily for you during that time. So as this woman takes a walk with her child, she carries her basket, and they're just enjoying the moment. And so it has everything to do with being in the present moment. And this may be a little bit of a hint from the angels to ground your energy. Instead of getting very up in the air with potentials and possibilities or options, ground yourself in the reality of now and see what you can do to play with your options, to actually do something about them, to actually feel something about them, make a decision about them, okay? So grounding your energy, that's an important aspect of this card. Your body needs refreshment from oxygenated air generated by grass, trees, plants, and flowers. Spend time outside today, as near to Mother Nature's cradle as possible. Open your curtains and windows to refresh your home as well. So needing some fresh air, that says it all. It's just a nice piece of advice for you. If you get a little overwhelmed, take a break, take a step away from the situation, and reassess. The next card that I pulled from my oracle deck is Blessings, and I love this card because it's such a Cancer's card. Very oceany, very watery, emotional card, talking about this foresight we have, right? Just over the rainbow, right? At the end of the rainbow, that kind of feeling, where we're really seeking the things to be grateful for this month. We're really seeking that which we can appreciate very easily. And we want to emphasize those things. We want to emphasize the joy in our life. We want to seek out blessings. We want to seek out the things that make us more happy, more steady, more going with the flow, okay? Blessings. You are being showered with light. Your creativity is being stirred, activated, and set alight. An endless stream of rainbow colors stems from your heart. Again, I really feel like your intuition is going to be your best friend. And again, I will say that I got an intuition card from the Gaia Tarot deck. So I just feel as though from your tarot cards, from this card, from your blessings, they're all saying that Cancers in general are very intuitive people. If there's any misunderstandings or miscommunications, you have the ability to see through those Mercury in retrograde errors, right? Through your heart space. If you are curious about how a person feels, you don't need to look much further than yourself. When I pulled this card, I asked specifically what kind of characters would be playing a big role in your month. And this card is a very Cancer card, okay? If not the most Cancer card, and it's a card of reason for being. So something very important is coming through your intuition this month. Things that are not said may still be apparent to you if you are connected within your intuition. And it brings forth valuable information that I feel is going to be altering your energetic output in some way. But if we listen very carefully, you'll know exactly what to do. The King of Swords comes up along with the Nine of Swords. Okay, so this is talking about some kind of de-aggression in the first part of the month, which has everything to do with Mercury in retrograde, along with Mars and Saturn playing within your 10th and 7th houses. So don't be surprised if there's some real complications, okay, in the beginning of the month, especially the first week. The King of Swords talks about a man who is admired for his tenacity in business, right? He comes off as cold to some of his loved ones, but he really has this foresight in business through his intuition, through his experience, that allows him to be on the cutting edge of his decisions, being on the cutting edge of his life, knowing that the answers he seeks are within him. He has the ability to decipher clearly the next decision or the next step along his journey, always. He's always one step ahead, right? But the King of Swords was in reverse for you, so that means that during Mercury retrograde, especially I believe in the career aspect of your life, you will be receiving some feedback, okay, that may make you feel a little insecure about your direction. It may make you feel as though you've lost some sincerity in your work. It may feel cold, it may feel rash, it may feel cynical even. With the Nine of Swords coming up, I feel that this clarifies that there's some fear, there's some issues regarding some distorted reality, okay, that you might have been living in the past. But because it's a 9, I feel like this is coming to a close. And it's good that you have the King of Swords actually helping you to better determine what exactly needs to be let go. Because even though this is in reverse, I feel it's telling you certain negative aspects of you that need to go bye-bye. They need to just be let go of, certain negative habits even. Because the Nine of Swords talks about everything that could potentially happen that is hurtful or makes us feel bad, coming back to us, right? But it's a fear-based mentality because it's not actually happening. It's not really real. And so the things that have been holding you back are going to be becoming very clear. And I think this has a lot to do with Mars and Saturn in Capricorn for 2 years, really trying to steer us in a way that is nudging us, pushing us forward in somewhat uncomfortable ways to get past those barriers, to get past what fears or what excuses we may have had in the past to hinder our growth, that we have fooled ourselves into believing, because it's not actually the way it is. I see as though you are the King of Swords. You are that business savvy person who is not emotionally all over the place. They are very centered. They are very directed. They are very conscientious of their movements. But because it's in reverse, I feel as though it's just an insecurity of yours that needs to be dealt with. It's just something, another hurdle along your wealthy and healthy journey that you need to overcome. Because as the Nine of Swords comes to a close, you'll begin to see that you actually it's like you duped yourself into thinking this for a long time now. And as this momentum of Saturn and Capricorn increases, we're just going to be feeling more of that, really needing to overcome some of the issues that we have been convincing ourselves, whether it's, self-talk like I'm not good enough, I could not potentially do that, I'll never get there, or this person, if they leave me, I'll be so hurt, I'll never want to love again, those kind of feelings, especially involved in career and personal relationships. But it's a feeling-based mentality. So the things that you convince yourself of that are fear-based are going to be on the forefront of your mind. Forefront of your mind. King of Swords. Forefront of your mind. Leading edge, cutting edge thoughts here. Making it so apparent that you either need to stay the course and deal with what you've created in a very fear-based way, right? Dealing with those fears that have manifest in a way that is facing them, or you simply need to redirect. You simply need to say, that is not what I want. That is not what I'm creating. I know now, I see that this is no longer suiting me, this way of being, and I'm going to move this way instead. I'm going to move toward that goal. The Ten of Wands comes up in the second week with the Hierophant, which is reassuring because it's stating that as soon as you get through this barrier with the coming to a close of the Nine of Swords, coming to a close of the things that you're manifesting that are no longer benefiting you, it's then a question of, where do I put my energy now? Where do I redirect my energy to? Okay? The Ten of Wands, again, is signifying a new beginning. Okay? And it might seem slight. It might seem a bit simple, because as you say no more to these kinds of thought patterns, these kinds of habits that are very cyclical and stagnating, you're going to be realizing that I have the capability to redirect my energy. I'm carrying way too much energy. I'm carrying way too much responsibility. And long term, it's made me cynical. It's made me resentful. I might even feel a little spiteful in my endeavors, because what was owed to me in the past hasn't necessarily reaped the rewards I thought they would reap. Maybe you are receiving rewards, but it's become increasingly hard on you to continuously keep up with. Nobody can do that. Everybody needs to take a break. Everybody needs to recalibrate. Everybody needs to redirect their energy at some point. As you take on, make sure that you're letting certain things go in the process. And as you learn to do this, the Hierophant comes up saying, where you put your energy needs to be sustainable. It needs to be something that you can carry with you long term. Because this person, as far as they've come, they really have come so far, and they've gathered so much information and so many wands and so many endeavors, and they're trying to be so many people for so many people, that it's finally now that they're losing grip on everything they have to carry, all the baggage and all the weight that they have. And it's an integral card, right? You've done this out of integrity. You've done this out of knowing that you can. And the Hierophant comes in saying, but should you, right? The Hierophant comes in as this wise advisor saying, let's speak of things that involve this foundation you want to build, that doesn't break your back, that doesn't make it so hard on you that long term looks grim, right? You're breaking yourself, you're pulling yourself down energetically because you just can't keep up. This wise advisor, and this can even be a person within your life, comes to you with advice, and it's well worth your time to listen. This person may feel as though they don't have time, the space, or energy to take on anything else. This person comes in saying, yes, you do, because long term you'll thank me. And they're giving you a piece of advice that may shift you dramatically. It may open your eyes to something, a new opportunity, of seeking answers, a new means for seeking answers, a way in which you never thought you could actually respond to a situation. They're giving you insights too. So, as this 10 of Wands begins its new beginning, where you're really deciding whether you want to carry this load or not, the Hierophant comes in and just further clarifies, you have a better way of doing this. There's a different way of going about this, and it's much more simple. It's much more long-term, and it's going to support this long-term foundation that you really want to create. The Five of Swords and Queen of Swords comes up. Lots of swords energy, man. You guys are really, hitting it hard with the logic and reason this month. You're not choosing to be very emotional about any of this, which is very surprising because Cancers tend to be very emotional in general, but you guys are taking an analytical approach, which is kind of out of your element, and you might need some guidance, which is great because the Hierophant comes in just in time. But because you guys have so many swords, it's talking about really being in connection with your spiritual side, okay, with your internal, introspective side, where the universe might even seem personal again, right? Because there's this coldness, this analytical sense to the beginning of the month where it's just very cold turkey, it's very intellectual, it's very analytical, not so emotional. When the Hierophant comes in, it's kind of like an epiphany, or it's kind of like this advice that you get that just, you realize something and it shakes you in a way that you once again find what's important to you. The Five of Swords and the Queen of Swords asks you to take a real hard look at your integrity, okay? Why you do things. Because the Hierophant is telling you there's a different way to go about things. You're going to be reflecting on that maybe in the third week of the month. Where does my integrity take me? How does my integrity actually play a role in my life? And who exactly supports my highest integrity, and who kind of decimates it, right? If that's even, like a way to think about it. Five of Swords comes up. There's this very malicious looking character holding two swords, sitting on one and standing on two, and he's got swords everywhere, and these two characters, these shadowy figures, stand in the background kind of ominously, and you're wondering what just went down, because this person who's holding all of the swords and all the power stands above them on this kind of pedestal, but he looks very malicious and he looks very unfair, and it's really a question of integrity, because you may have support around you. You may have people wanting to support you and carry you through this transition in a loving way, but I feel as though you're still dealing with some of those feelings of needing to be cold and analytical. And when the Queen of Swords comes in, she's kind of reassuring you. She's reassuring you that you don't need to cut off this emotional aspect and to be so intellectual to prove yourself. You can show strength within your weaknesses. You can begin to show that you have been through a lot recently. You've been trying really hard. You've been making moves left and right, and then there's been big transitions within your life. The Queen of Swords, validates the fact that there is some transition within your integrity. And when I say integrity, when I think of integrity, I'm talking about knowing that your best is good enough. Knowing that your best is what's required of you, and no more, okay? And maybe that's even what's been making you a little analytical, a little too cold and rash, and a little cynical, because you've been trying to ignore or put aside some of the emotional facets of your life in order to make room for financial growth, to make room for your career, to make room for different career endeavors and that kind of thing. But when you get towards the end of the month, you'll realize that with your emotions, with your intellect, you can go much further. And that's why the Queen of Swords comes up to validate and maybe even soften the Five of Swords a bit, because she's quite a few more cards up higher in the evolution of the deck. So that means that you're really making progress, but this might be an underlying aspect, until this guy gets eradicated, right? The Queen of Swords comes in as a person who has created something beautiful out of her mistakes. She's created something beautiful out of her hardships. She is cold, cutthroat, and a little harsh, but she's not inconsiderate, okay? She considers the opinions, she considers the emotions of others, but she keeps boundaries, right? And that's maybe where you need to be right now. With Mars and Saturn really propelling your growth within your career and personal relationships, you're deciding where my energy goes, okay, and where my boundaries lie. And it has everything to do with that in the third week of the month. So where your integrity is, again, Queen of Swords is very integral because she has been through so much. She has had the worst of the worst potentially happen to her, but she's come up on top because she has simply not become the victim of those circumstances. She has used them to her advantage. She is strengthened by them. So keeping that kind of mindset, and I believe the Hierophant has a lot to do with how you view this third week. You're going to be maybe noticing that your integrity has been out of place, and you simply just want to feel more whole. You want to feel less rigid. You want to feel less cynical. You want to feel less cold. You want to feel less burdened. And that is totally understandable. You're letting go and you're releasing a lot of fears, a lot of this delusion, this separate reality that you've been so fearful of living. It's not real. You can choose now which reality you want to live. And that's very important, especially within your sign specifically. You guys have a cardinal sign, so this is going to be hitting you extra hard. Okay, you're going to be the leaders, the forefront kind of people. Forefront keeps coming up, but because I believe this King of Swords is really influencing you, even through the end of the month, this lack of intuition. If you can access your intuition, it's going to be your best friend, but it's going to be playing a huge role in your life, because as your intuition is cut off, that means your emotions are cut off. We can't have intuition if our thoughts and if our feelings aren't in alignment. So as your thoughts increase, as your swords energy increases, as your air energy increases, as the momentum increases, you're going to have a little bit of lag within your emotional realm. And I see that happening so clearly. So as your energy picks up again towards the end of the month, you're going to have to carry some of that stagnation with you until it catches back up with the new expansion you've had mentally. Two of Cups comes up, which is so reassuring, and I love how your month ends. The Two of Cups is when the universe becomes personal. It's when compassion arises again within your loving relationships and partnerships. That can have something to do with your working relationships as well, because as cups are emotional, they're also the flow. They're also the ease. They're also the communication. Okay, so expect this to arise in the last month of April as your sign, gets a little bit more settled in with all of the cardinal energy, and Mercury again is direct. So no more hesitation, no more delays, no more miscommunication, no more extra time for negotiations. Things will just be better. People will just be more in line with you. You'll be seeing more eye to eye with them. This is also a really reassuring card that your relationship, because of the emotional work that you're doing, not maybe focusing so much on the analytical aspects and the career-oriented aspects of your life, your relationships are going to flourish. And with that, there's a renewed sense of security and stability, which you need in order to accomplish anything outside of the home. Cancers are very about making their home a safe and enjoyable place. They love protecting their home. They love the things in their home. And so the people that are closest to you, it just feels very reassuring when you feel like you're on the same page with them. So expect that to be happening at the end of the month again. Restored balance and a renewed curiosity as well with this person. I feel like you're going to be seeing a new side of this person because maybe some of the thoughts of confusion and this delusional reality that you may have convinced yourself of in the beginning of the month when everything was going haywire and Mars was retrograde is going to be very clear, okay? It's going to be very clear. The universe is working for you. The universe is working with you. The hesitation or delays that you may have experienced within your energetic field towards the beginning and mid-month are going to be clarified, very, very clear. The Queen of Coins comes up because this person has devoted so much of their time, energy, and effort into making beautiful creations around them, which are very rewarding by nature. By nature, they are rewarding. So you are putting a very strong emphasis on what you're creating, and you want it to be very natural, very free-flowing, very easy. Not easy in the way that it requires nothing from you, but just more simple in the sense that not so many things are involved. There's not so many different working parts and so many different facets needing to be taken care of. It's just simplified in nature, and it's really working for you. So whatever you do within this month, know that it's going to reap really good rewards. Pentacles has everything to do with worldly things. Again, this is coins, pentacles, sensuality, okay? There can be a restored sense of love and romance within your life. Again, because it's a coin, it means value, okay? So everything having to do with the value of your life, receiving value, having energy being more free-flowing and reciprocated. This can also mean that your manifestations are coming to fruition. The things that you've been working so diligently on within April, the 10 of Wands, the Hierophant, the 5 of Swords, the Queen of Swords, during that time, you're going to be shifting. You're going to be shifting a lot. There's going to be a lot of movement within the important things in your life. Really putting your energy towards more important things, not so scattered, not so spread out, not so questionable within your actions. It's going to be very clear. It's going to be very precise. There's going to be almost like a more narrow focus that is much more balanced and joyful, just a lot more joyful and enjoyable. So I'll end there. I hope that this helps. And if you'd like a more specific reading, again, head to my website. I'll be posting more signs towards the beginning of April. Let me know if you would like your sign read first. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And again, this is Chandler. I will see you next month. Bye.